He is the director of hockey development at Notre Dame. But if you're a Colorado Avalanche fan and you don't know the backstory that we found out when Wade has been on, he's part of the brain trust that brought Cale Makar to the Avalanche and that thrilling Stanley Cup win a few years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, Wade Klippenstein. Wade, how are you? How's your summer been?
Summer's good. The Riders are in first place. The Jays are in the playoffs, and things are good.
I wanted to ask you this because you've been everywhere in hockey. You've been in the Western Hockey League. You've been in the National Hockey League. Who's the most famous person in your cell phone contacts?
That's a great question. I see that on social media quite often. Maybe in the hockey world, probably Joe Sakic. I think he's someone that's, anywhere we went with Joe, he was always recognized anywhere in the world, and probably rightfully so, as a great ambassador of the game. So I'd probably, up until this year, Brock Lesnar got into my phone this year. So that's another pretty big name. His sons, their boys are here at Notre Dame. So definitely hockey travels allows you to meet some pretty neat people and see the world at the same time.
Greg from the Piffles podcast a few weeks ago, when we had him on to talk about SummerSlam, because Brock Lesnar was the big surprise guest at the end, he said that he had met Brock at a game at Notre Dame because his son goes there and plays there, and he's just a normal everyday dad with kids doing his thing. But when he has to, he turns into the beast incarnate when it's WWE time to go and blow up MetLife Stadium in front of 82,000 people. What's he like outside the ring and just being a dad?
Well, he's a hockey dad. He's passionate about his boys and about the sport, and just like any parent, he cares a lot about his kids and their education and their experiences here at Notre Dame. So I think almost all hockey parents have a common ground there. Obviously, he's I'd say a one percenter in his sport and his life, and I think he has pretty high expectations and of his sons and his daughter. He's got a daughter. It's a very elite athlete as well. So
yeah,
a very good sporting family with a lot of passion.
We're chatting with Wade Klippenstein, Director of Hockey Development in Notre Dame on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. I'm not sure if you saw this social media video today, Wade, but Sam Reinhart has his day with the Stanley Cup yesterday. And I want to ask you about what you did with yours, but Sam's at the gym doing bench press, and he's doing the weight rack run with it. Did you work out with the Stanley Cup, or was it a little more social when you had it when the Avalanche won?
Mine would be quite the opposite. A lot of food and drink. So skipped we skipped the gym that day. Funny story. I was just blessed to get the cup. That year was a really short summer. They still had extended season for COVID. So the cup, I think we had 100 days as a group, and all the players and owners and coaches again. And I think Joe probably had it 3 or 4 times. But I was just lucky that Cale Makar and Logan O'Connor lived where I lived in the Calgary area. So probably 1 or 2 days before I got it, I got a call from the Hockey Hall of Fame, said, hey, by the way, we're in the area. We should be able to get the cup to you. Most likely, we'll run it down there Tuesday morning, but it's got to be back in Calgary on the Bow River with these 2 guys by 5 o'clock. So, of course, you're excited, and you'll just take it for whatever they'll give it. And so I think I had the cup for about 5 hours, and you would have thought we had it for 2 weeks with all the wardrobe changes and all the different things we did with it. But famously, I married a Ukrainian girl, so we had borscht in it. And then at the end of the day, for the kids, we had root beer floats. And that got a lot of traction. If you search social media, you'll see the kids all with a straw each fighting over a spot to drink root beer floats, A&W root beer floats, out of the cup. So that was our special day. But family pictures, everyone in town. We were living in Coaldale, Alberta at the time, and that thing has a lot of power, boy. It brings people together and makes a lot of people happy. It was just a special day, and so lucky that I was even included. I think I was the only scout that year that got it, and very fortunate to get my moment with the cup.
Wade, if to all the Oiler fans that are listening to the Sports Cage right now, you just made them sink a little further. If it's in the seat of the truck or if they're sitting around the kitchen table, because now it stings just a little more that they didn't get it done. Just real quick before we move on, do you think the Panthers have it in them to go 3 in a row with that lineup they have and the coaching staff?
I love their lineup. I love their style of play just to stay healthy. Like, the Cup run takes so much out of you because you play, 60, 80 days longer than some teams or whatever it is, and then just the injuries and the wear and tear to do it twice is amazing. And, I think we stopped Tampa from doing it 3 times, but it's so hard and there's so many good teams. If they do it, that's amazing. I don't see how that can happen, but again, they've done it twice, and they've managed to sign everyone and keep the team together. So until someone beats them, they're the champs.
My favorite off-season picture, it's not anybody with the Stanley Cup, although there's been some great ones. It was Leon Draisaitl's wedding, and this is the Prince Albert, Saskatchewan coming out in him that I really love. It's his wedding. There's a picture of him sitting down, shoes off, lit cigarette in his mouth. He's having a dart. Looks like he's having the time of his life, but he just needs a little break. That made me feel a whole lot closer to Leon Draisaitl. I didn't get married in the south of France, but we've all been that guy at the wedding reception. An elite athlete smoking a cigarette, having a good time.
That Cup's got stories to tell. It's amazing what it sees in the summer. It's such a unbelievable experience, and what a trophy, and just to be part of that for a moment was just a chance of a lifetime.
All right, so Wade, last week I'm on social media, and I follow you guys, and I see this post about, there's this new program you're running when it comes for kids who are goalies. And if I'm a mom or a dad, and I have a son or a daughter who's a goalie, because it's a specialized position, then there's a whole lot that goes into that. And we've seen this before. There's all sorts of hockey schools, but not necessarily a thing. And that's why we wanted to bring you on. This new goalie program that you're running, where did the idea come from? And what is it? If I'm a mom or dad listening and I want my son or daughter to be going to that next level, how I can be part of this?
No, it's a good question, and we have got a lot of interest from that social media post and just the word spreading about our new goalie department. I guess to go back to my days with Colorado, we often struggled with our goaltender evaluations, and just it seemed like every year we were trading for a goalie and using draft picks and assets to get goalies and even drafting goalies. I think the last goalie that played for us that we actually drafted and developed was like Peter Budaj. And at that time, he was our goalie coach. So that tells you the drought there between drafting goalies and turning them into regular NHL starters. So we got together and led by Craig Billington, developed a goalie department and came up with a strategy on how to evaluate goalies and develop goalies. And at the NHL level, you need almost 10 goalies in your organization to be fully stocked. So here, we went from 9 teams to 11 teams this year, and with that, we have almost 25 goalies on campus. And in the past, we've had 1 goalie coach or maybe 1.5, and I didn't feel we were giving the service to our goaltenders and their families that we needed to deliver the best we could. So we came up with a goalie department and tried to cover every angle of our goaltending. We have a teacher coach, Travis Harrington, that's going to lead the department, create the schedule, the curriculum, and be the number one contact point with our parents. We have a European goalie coming over in Changi Horvath that's going to give us a little bit of a different look from a European perspective. Tony Girardi, who works with the U of R, she's going to work a lot with our female goaltenders, and Billy Cawthorne, a goalie out of the Saskatoon area that's played some college hockey in the area. He's kind of the younger guy that's going to represent the new age and what all the kids are talking about when it comes to goalie development. So we felt with 4 people, that gives us, more diversity in our staff and a better option to cover as much as we can. We've added some goalie sessions to our schedule. We've added a skill session in our skill center for our goaltenders. So the demand is there. To be honest with you, we had a U18 camp this spring, and we had 28 goalies apply to the camp. So we had to have a camp before the camp just to get down to 16 goalies to eventually get down to 4 goalies for those spots. So we just felt it's time, and we're just looking for something that puts us into that spotlight as industry leaders, and we're excited about this new opportunity.
Now, is this just for kids and students that are enrolled at the school? Is this an outside program? Like, so if I'm a mom or dad listening, because you just piqued their curiosity, because if this is exactly what they're looking for, because 4 days in the summer at a camp, that's one thing, but mentorship throughout a hockey season is something completely different.
Yeah, we're very fortunate here where we have our student athletes for almost 10 months. So even in competition and post-competition, our goaltending staff works with the goaltenders. We do have camps in the summer, and a lot of our staff carry over into those summer camps. So again, having 11 teams and almost 25 goalies, and then our summer camp, our goalie camp fills up in minutes, and I think that's pretty common all over the place. So hopefully just to be better prepared and again offer that better level of service for our goaltending families.
Okay. The landscape at Notre Dame is different this year. There is no junior A club. They've moved on to Martinsville. But as you had said, your hockey department's growing. 9 teams. You're going to 11 teams. Is it a little bit of a different attitude this fall as we head into hockey season? Is there a breath of fresh air with some of the changes that are being made? Like, what's the vibe on campus, as the kids would say?
Yeah, no, we're excited, and we're almost 10 days away from kids coming back to school here, so it's an exciting time of the year. The changing in our programming, we made some significant changes with our coaching staff, added some experienced coaches. Claude Vilgrain, a name I think people are familiar with, that played in the National Hockey League, played for Team Canada for a long time. He's going to join our staff with our U18 prep team, and then Casey O'Brien, a local coach who does a lot of skills work in southern Saskatchewan here, that was assistant coach with Weyburn all the way to their SJHL playoff run last year. So we've made some changes there. One of the biggest changes with our programming is adding that third female team, that U15 AA team. That's a team that's got tremendous interest. We have a goaltender from St. Louis, Missouri, a defenseman from Japan, a forward from Colorado, and kids from all over the prairies. So that team has added a whole new level of excitement to our programming, and bringing back our U18 AA team as well. So I'm sure we'll miss the juniors once the season starts, and you don't see that older presence of the junior hockey player, but it's been replaced with some really good young teams, and we're excited about that.
You've watched a lot of hockey. You've evaluated a lot of athletes over the years. Are the kids at a younger age getting better and better skill-wise than you've ever seen before for all the prep that goes into it now?
Yeah, I think kids their development's hyper-accelerated, and you see it where they're training 12 months of the year and specially training, and it's obvious that you see it in the skill game. Just the highlights, you get to watch, Regina people get to watch a player like Malik Schultz, a great young player, and Connor Bedard that came through before that, and Liam Pugh is going to be in the area as well. So you see that youth, you see the excitement, the skill, and just it's competitive. There's a lot of great players, and now the rewards of being a great player young with the options of CHL and NCAA and some of the money that comes with it, it's only going to add to the early development of young hockey players.
Yeah, I wanted to get your take on that, because when you were scouting, like Cale Makar didn't play in the CHL. He played in the AJHL, and then he was in college and ended up in the NHL. So you've seen it from all sides. Now that there's money, because the big thing was, there's no NIL money for hockey players. And I'm like, well, hold on. Given the right hockey player, they'll find a way to get him NIL money. Well, they found a way to get Gavin McKenna and his family some money, because that's one thing. Because Wade, when you're recruiting, you have a chance at a good education and a chance to further your sports career. But now there's the third option. By the way, there's a chance to have money for you and your family. That's hard to compete against. Where are you coming out on all this? It's year one of this experiment where the Western Hockey League or the CHL, I read about some kid in the OHL yesterday from the Kitchener Rangers. He decided to decommit and he's going to college. Where do you think in year one this is all going to play out with the exodus of talent from the CHL going to the NCAA?
It's a great question that I get asked often, and I'm sure my answer will be better a year from now, like a lot of people's answers. I'm obviously tracking it. I have a nephew that plays in the Western Hockey League, was recently drafted by Minnesota, and he's got a lot of schools that are chasing him now, and just kind of following through his conversations. It's a great time to be a great player. There's so many options now the kids are going to get to enjoy, but there's less kids that are going to get to enjoy some of those options now too. And more American kids will probably come to the CHL. More Canadian kids may leave the CHL early and enjoy an NCAA experience. I played U.S. college hockey, absolutely loved the experience, but I will say it's not going to be for everyone. There'll be kids that go play NCAA hockey and don't like practicing 3 hours a day and playing once or twice a week, and it's not always what you think it is. And same for kids from the U.S. coming to play in the CHL. It might not be what they want. So there will be guys that go and come back both ways. But again, for those great players, that elite player that can get a chance to do both now and maybe even make some money partway through the path, that's pretty exciting for those kids.
The hockey community is small. You know a lot of people. You must feel for Willie Desjardins, not only losing Caden Limstrom, Gavin McKenna, but Ryder Ritchie. You were in the final of the Memorial Cup last spring. You've got a stacked roster and a chance to run it back. You come into training camp here in a couple of weeks, -3 giant pieces. How do you rebuild a team? Like, what do you do? Like, some of those pieces you just don't replace.
No, you don't, and that cycle changes, and maybe now it's a one-year cycle. I'm not sure if the teams are going to try and find older players to be competitive or just I'm not sure. Like, you look at Kelowna, how are they going to build their Memorial Cup team? And Victoria was a team that took a significant hit, losing 2 high-profile players. But again, teams will find their way. It's competitive. There's lots of good players, and maybe some new markets open up. Maybe you see more European players and more 20-year-olds. I'm not sure what they're going to do for rules, but it's a really interesting time. And just to see how are some of these guys going to do in the NCAA? It's a hard level of hockey. It's not for younger players. It's traditionally, some of those top teams are a lot older and heavier. And can a young 17, 18-year-old guy go in there and instantly contribute, or are they going to have to find their way? There's a lot of things that I'm really curious to watch unfold, and we'll see what happens. But I'm sure teams will find their niche in recruiting and build quickly, and then we'll see what happens.
Question number 1 for any of these kids that want to come up here. Have you ever been on a bus trip from Brandon, Manitoba to Victoria, British Columbia? And we're going to drive it straight. We ain't stopping. Can you handle that there and back? Okay, next. You can't, yeah. How about Brandon to Prince George? That's even less sexy. At least Victoria has some nice scenery once you get there. Prince George in January. Wade, would you recommend? Would you give it a 5-star review on Google? Probably not.
Well, part of the Western League development experience is learning how to travel and grinding on the buses. And you're talking to the right guy. I played hockey and coached hockey with Alaska Fairbanks and coached in Prince George and was a head scout for Brandon. So I've seen all the outposts. So, but I know some scouts like that. If a kid can handle that and can thrive in that scenario, then there's good days ahead for that player.
There's grit. Wade, we always enjoy these conversations. We love the stories. The borscht in the Stanley Cup is a story. Maybe that's a small Netflix show if we get the right people involved. It may have a very narrow target audience of Sasky, but I think it could be huge and pull big numbers. Let us know if we need, who would play you in the movie if we had to start casting this right now. The borscht-filled Stanley Cup.
That's a young tough Brad question. Pitt? I just went and watched the F1 movie with my wife. That wasn't a good idea. So that's definitely not my match. That's not my match. No, there's someone out there. I'm not a Hollywood guy. So
okay.
I'm just
we'll
hockey guy.
We'll look somewhere on the indie scene. It's Wade Klippenstein, the